purposely taking some time. Shout to everybody. So we're still talking about this fight, man. Like I figured, Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol, high level stuff that we saw last Saturday night. We're still talking about it. I'm not here to debate the decision. I'm not here to debate any of that. Listen, I've not screamed robbery. I have not done any of that because this fight was not a robbery. I personally picked Bivol to win marginally. I thought he won marginally, but I'm not going to complain about the decision. It's that close. And it's a testament to just how difficult it is sometimes to judge boxing, because there is kind of this unspoken criteria, right? Like there's no like rule book. Like you can't go to your library and pull out like the standard of what the criteria is for judging, right? I mean, there's a school or you're trained to judge in some kind of fashion. It's not like a literal school you go, but you guys in the sport understand what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of subjectiveness when it concerns judging boxing. There is criterias, okay? But at the end of the day, you have three people that are watching the same fight, okay? And three people that are almost likely going to see things not exactly the same way. This happens all the time. That's not to say that, you don't see scorecards that kind of mirror each other, but in most cases, man, when you have judges watching these fights, they're watching the same fight, but their eyes may be looking at different things, which is sometimes which really reverts back to the subjectiveness of how you judge rounds, winning rounds when they're that close. And with Bivol and Beterbiev, that's a lot of what we got last Saturday. Is you saw these little swings. You saw Bivol using his feet, evading, being early the busier guy, right? But then Beterbiev starts to pick it up. He starts to apply the pressure. But then in between those, Bivol had those swings again where he would kind of, and it's funny because I don't know if you guys read this interview with him, but you know that he watched Leonard Hagler as a film study for this fight. And if you watch how the fight played out, he did, or at least he attempted to do some of the stuff he saw in that fight. There was another fight he watched, but it was interesting that he made mention of that. And then when you go back, I watched the fight twice, and I go back and I see it again. I'm like, oh. So that all being said, man, I've seen everybody talk about, I've seen people talk robbery and all this stuff. Like, this is the thing that cannot get lost with this, okay? And I've seen a lot of people kind of just throwing shade in different ways. And listen, man, when you get two high-level guys and you put them in the ring, chances are you're going to get fights like this, because you have elite-level guys that are trying to penetrate the other paws, and it's not as easy as fighting a guy that you're heavily favored against, okay? This is what happens when you get two elite guys fighting, just so people that maybe are newer to the sport and you guys aren't used to seeing these kind of fights, this is what happens. This is what happens when you get two of the very best in the ring. You don't get a domination of the other. This is what you get. You get fights like this. You get fights that, after the bell rings and you get the decision that we're doing now. We're still talking about it. It's what happens, man. For me, it's part of the sport I love, because I get to chop it with you guys, and then you guys give me your feedback on it. Because it's like, again, it's one of those. It's the very unique sport where we all have different opinions. It's not like basketball or baseball where there's a definitive winner. Okay, in boxing there are definitive winners, but the context of how you get there can be subjective. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Listen. I like I like both fighters, man. Class level fighters, both of them. After the fight, I also saw people posting up stuff about like Bivol making excuses and things as such. But the thing is, the interviews I saw, he was basically saying like, yo, this dude's power is real. He was hitting through my hands, and he was hitting almost, I would even almost say like talking too much. Like there is that art of war where you kind of have to like, like keep your mouth shut a little bit, man. Like keep that in here. But anyway, do they run it back? Do they run it back immediately? I feel they should. I feel they should run it back, and I chances are, man, we're gonna get another close fight. You know what I mean? When you get guys of this level, chances are that's going to happen. Now, look, is there a chance that Beterbiev now goes into the second fight and stops Bivol? He did hurt him a few times in the fight. Bivol hung on. But both guys have room to make little adjustments that can swing the fight more in their favor in a rematch. But the question is like, do they run it back again immediately? I would think, why not? Let's do it. I don't think either guy has a better option monetarily, but I guess we'll have to see. I've seen it twice. I scored it marginally twice for Bivol, but again, I'm not gonna argue it, man. It was that close of a fight. I've talked to so many different people who saw it different ways, which is why I think we need a rematch. We need a rematch. So, but yeah, that's really all I got with this, man. I mean, I know a lot of y'all been chopping it up for the past like few days about this fight, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents and wait until like the smoke cleared, watch it again and get kind of like a better gauge. But seeing it the second time, saw the fight pretty much the same way, even though there were rounds that, again, anybody can make an argument about whether it went to Bivol and Beterbiev, and it's that close. It's that close. So, but that's all I got, man. You guys want a rematch? I'm ready for it. They should do it next in the spring. And if not, like, who does either fight next? I mean, look, I'm going to tell y'all, Canelo's not fighting Beterbiev. For a lot of y'all, that's not happening. And there's really no case for him to fight Bivol now because it's just like, it's kind of a moot point, you know. Maybe for him to get his revenge, but I guess how would it look for Canelo now to go fight Bivol after losing to Beterbiev? You know, like, I think Canelo really should just stick on what he's doing, man. Like, if you want to fight those kind of fights, I don't care. Like, I don't think he's gonna fight Beterbiev. If you guys think that, I don't think so. So, but that's pretty much all I got, man. We're wrapping up the year. They just announced December 7th, Navarrete Valdez 2 and your man Rubisi Ramirez and Lopez rematch. I was at the first one. Wow. So we're gonna be treated December 7th, and then later that month we're gonna have the rematch with Usyk and Tyson Fury. So there's still a lot in store. Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, that's happening in December too. So we still got a lot of boxing in store, man. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, subscribe. Who do you have winning a rematch? Same? Does it play out the same? Does Beterbiev end up getting the knockout? Can Bivol make adjustments? I guess we'll find out. But